The Whispering Acorn. In the heart of Whispering Woods, where sunlight danced through ancient leaves and wildflowers bloomed in every shade, lived a tiny squirrel named Pipkin. Pipkin was no ordinary squirrel. He had the brightest, most curious eyes and a tail that twitched with excitement at the slightest rustle. His best friend was a shimmering fairy named Lumiel, whose wings sparkled like morning dew, and whose laughter tinkled like tiny bells. One crisp autumn morning, as the air smelled of damp earth and fallen leaves, Lumiel fluttered down to Pipkin with a secret. "Pipkin," she whispered, her voice like chimes. "I've heard tales of the wish-granting acorn. It's said to be hidden deep within the woods, sparkling with magic, and whoever finds it can make one wish come true." Pipkin's eyes grew wide. A wish-granting acorn? What an adventure that would be! Hearts full of hope and tiny paws and wings ready for adventure, Pipkin and Lumiel set off. They followed winding paths, hopped over bubbling brooks and ducked under low-hanging branches. The deeper they went, the quieter the woods became, until only the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant chirping of birds could be heard. But then, a new sound began. A low, rumbling grrr, umph, followed by a soft thump-thump. Umph. Thump-thump. The noises grew louder. Pipkin's whiskers twitched, and Lumiel clutched his fluffy tail. They tiptoed closer, peeking from behind a giant oak tree. And what did they see? Not a scary monster, but a very large, very gentle badger. He was sitting by a berry bush, looking rather forlorn, thumping his paw softly. It seemed he was trying to get a particularly stubborn berry, but it just wouldn't budge. "Oh dear," whispered Lumiel. "He's not scary at all, just a bit stuck." Pipkin, always brave, scampered out. "Hello there," he chirped. The badger looked up, startled, his big eyes blinking. "My name is Pipkin, and this is Lumiel. Are you all right?" The badger let out a soft huff. "Hello, Pipkin and Lumiel," he rumbled gently. "I'm Barnaby. I was just trying to get this last juicy berry, but it's very, very stubborn." Pipkin scurried up Barnaby's broad nose, his little paws reaching for the plump, red berry. Lumiel zipped and zoomed around it, her fairy dust shimmering as she tried to coax it free. "Pull, Pipkin, pull," she encouraged, giving the berry a gentle tug. "Wiggle, wiggle," Pipkin squeaked, stretching as far as he could. But that berry was truly, truly stubborn. It clung to its branch like a sleepy bat to a cage. Rumbled Barnaby, thinking. Perhaps a little teamwork is needed. Carefully, he used his big soft snout to give the branch a gentle nudge, just enough to make it wobble. With a collective 1, 2, 3, pull from Lumiel and Pipkin, and Barnaby's steady nudge, there was a tiny pop. The berry, finally freed, tumbled down. "Hooray!" cheered Lumiel, doing a little loop-de-loop in the air. Pipkin did a happy tail-wagging dance. Barnaby carefully caught the berry and munched it with a happy sigh. "Oh, that was the best berry ever," he said, his voice full of gratitude. "Thank you, my little friends. You saved the day." He smiled, a truly kind smile that wrinkled. "Barnaby," Lumiel began, fluttering close to his ear, "we're on a very important quest. We're searching for the legendary wish-granting acorn." Pipkin nodded, his tail twitching. "It's somewhere deep in the Whispering Woods, and we need to find it so we can make a wish." Barnaby's eyes widened. "A wish-granting acorn? My goodness, that sounds like an even grander adventure than a stubborn berry." "Would you like to come with us, Barnaby?" asked Lumiel. "We could use a strong friend like you." Barnaby's face brightened. "Oh, I would love to. It gets a bit lonely sometimes, just me and the berries." He smiled. "So what will you wish for if we find it?" Pipkin thought hard. "I would wish for the biggest, most delicious hazelnut hoard the world has ever seen. Enough to share with all my squirrel friends, so no one ever goes hungry through the winter." He chittered happily at the thought. Lumiel sighed dreamily. "And I would wish for all the wildflowers in the woods to glow with soft, gentle light every night, so no lost creature would ever be afraid in the dark again." Her wings shimmered with her heartfelt wish. Barnaby listened, a soft smile spreading across his face. "Those are wonderful wishes, my friends," he rumbled. He thought about his own wish. "I suppose I would wish for all the paths in the woods to always be clear and welcoming, so every creature can find their way safely to where they need to be, and never feel lost or alone." "A map, you say?" Barnaby's eyes twinkled. Why, I know these woods like the back of my paw. Every root, every stone, every secret turning. Pipkin carefully unrolled the ancient, crinkly map they had brought. Barnaby gently took it, his large snout hovering over the delicate parchment. He traced a line with a thick claw. Ah, yes. This winding path here. It leads through the whispering willows, past the glimmering grotto, and right to the foot of the old elder oak. With Barnaby as their guide, the adventure felt much clearer. He knew exactly which mossy stone to step on and which thicket to avoid. Pipkin rode on Barnaby's broad back, feeling safe and sound, while Lumielle zipped ahead, her sparkling light showing them the way through the dappled shadows. The sounds of the forest seemed to hum a tune of anticipation. They journeyed past the whispering willows, whose long branches seemed to sigh secrets to the breeze, and through the glimmering grotto where tiny crystals sparkled on the cave walls like hidden stars. Each step brought them closer, their hearts beating with a mix of excitement and the quiet hope of finding the magical acorn. Their path led them to a sparkling river. A narrow old log covered in moss served as a bridge to the other side. The water below looked deep and swirly. Barnaby, with his long legs, stepped onto the log easily. Lumielle, with her wings, could flit across without a care. But Pipkin stopped. His whiskers drooped, and his normally perky tail fluffed up like a startled dandelion. "Oh dear," Pipkin squeaked, his voice barely a whisper. "It's so high, and the water looks so fast. I don't think I can cross, Lumielle. I'm too scared." He squeezed his eyes shut, imagining himself tumbling into the rushing river. Barnaby, seeing Pipkin's fear, gently turned and came back to his side. "Don't worry, little friend," he rumbled softly. "You don't have to cross alone. I'll carry you." He lowered his big, strong back. Pipkin, still a little shaky, carefully climbed on, burying his face in Barnaby's warm fur. Lumielle flew just ahead, her light shining like a tiny beacon, whispering, "You're doing great, Pipkin. Just look at my light." Slowly, steadily, Barnaby carried Pipkin across the wobbly log bridge. Each step was careful and sure. Pipkin kept his eyes squeezed shut until he felt the soft earth beneath Barnaby's paws again. When he opened them, they were safely on the other side. "We did it!" he cheered, hopping off Barnaby's back, his fear replaced by a surge of courage. Lumielle gave him a tiny, celebratory hug. "See? You were so brave!" Finally, after what felt like an age of walking, they arrived. Towering above them was the magnificent elder oak, its branches wider than any they had ever seen, its leaves shimmering with an ancient wisdom. A soft, golden light pulsed from its base, beckoning them closer. "The elder oak," whispered Lumielle, her voice full of wonder. "We've made it." They crept closer, their hearts thumping with excitement. And there it was. On a small, moss-covered stone pedestal, glowing with a warm, inviting light, sat the most beautiful acorn they had ever seen. It was perfectly golden, sparkling as if made of pure starlight. This was it, the wish-granting acorn. But wait! Around the base of the pedestal, strange, glowing symbols swirled and pulsed, forming a pattern that looked like a puzzle. A soft, ancient voice, like the rustling of 1,000 leaves, seemed to whisper, "To claim the wish, solve the riddle of the wood." Pipkin peered at the symbols. "What does it mean?" he chittered, feeling a little stumped. Lumielle, her brow furrowed in thought, gently touched one of the glowing patterns with her finger. Barnaby slowly read the symbols, his deep voice rumbling. "It looks like 3 parts of the forest, a root, a rain cloud, and a sun petal," claimed Lumielle. "I know. The riddle isn't asking for words, but for what these symbols represent." The root. Pipkin quickly scampered to the base of the elder oak and found a strong, gnarled root peeking from the earth. He gently nudged it towards the root symbol. "The rain cloud!" Lumielle flew up to a dewy leaf, carefully collecting a tiny, shimmering drop of water, and brought it to the rain cloud symbol. "And the sun petal?" Barnaby, with his broad back, carefully positioned himself to catch a sunbeam, reflecting its warmth onto the sun petal symbol. As the root touched its symbol, the water drop met its cloud, and the sunbeam warmed its petal. The glowing patterns swirled faster and faster. A soft chime echoed through the woods, and with a gentle pop, the golden acorn lifted slightly from its pedestal, its light brighter than ever, ready for them to take. They had solved the riddle. With trembling paws, delicate fingers, and a broad, gentle paw, Pipkin, Lumielle, and Barnaby all reached out and touched the glowing golden acorn. Together, they closed their eyes, each thinking of their heartfelt wish. Pipkin for his shared hazelnut hoard, Lumiel for her glowing wildflowers, and Barnaby for clear, welcoming paths. A wave of warm, tingling magic enveloped them. As quickly as it had appeared, the golden acorn began to fade. It shimmered and sparkled, dissolving into 1,000 tiny golden motes of light that drifted upwards, carried by an unseen breeze, until nothing remained but the lingering warmth in their pores and the quiet magic in the air. The wish-granting acorn was gone. Then, a deep, resonant voice, like the rustling of all the leaves in the forest through the ages, rumbled from the very heart of the elder oak. "Your wishes are heard, brave friends, and they shall be granted," the ancient voice intoned. "But know this, little ones, it was not the acorn alone that held the true magic. It was your kindness to a stranger, your courage in the face of fear, and your wisdom to work as one, each listening to the other's heart, that unlocked its power," the elder oak continued. "For the greatest magic of all lies not in wishes, but in the steadfast bond of friendship. You helped each other, you believed in each other, and together, you achieved what no one could do alone. This is the true treasure you have found." Pipkin, Lumiel, and Barnaby looked at each other, a warm feeling spreading through their chests. The elder oak's words echoed in their hearts. They hadn't just found a magical acorn. They had found something even more precious, the enduring strength of their friendship. With happy smiles, they began their journey home, knowing that their wishes would come true, and that their bond would last forever. The end. Thank you for listening.